All right, let's go. Greetings, everyone. My name is Cassandra Floyd, also known as the Daughter of the Fates. Back at y'all ass again today. Try to keep this shit short and sweet. Morning from Mikatra, Western Australia. How you doing, Evelyn? Okay. So yeah. Happy new moon, wherever you are. Either it was yesterday or today, but we're still right in the thick of it. So happy new moon. And in honor of the new moon, I thought I would do a read for the temple today. So that is what I am going to do. I did a poll earlier today. So you take from this reading what is for you. That which does not apply, leave it where it is. So yeah, some things, some what do you call it? Housekeeping I want to do though is I want to remind those who volunteered to capture some cicada songs for me. I haven't heard from anybody yet, but I need those. If you are anywhere in the western portion of the United States where the cicada brood is happening, please take 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, take your phone outside and capture cicada songs for me and email them to me, please. It is so important, and I haven't had anybody send me those yet, but I need them. And I don't know how long the brood is going to last, but I did get word that the brood has started. So some of y'all are hearing cicada songs. They obviously, they sing a lot louder at night when the world is kind of quiet. So like I said, even if it's 10 minutes and I just have to, spin it on a loop or whatever, I really need somebody to send me cicada songs, preferably from different regions. So if you're in different areas, capture, put the phone out, whatever. Greetings, everybody coming into the room. I need cicada songs. Okay. So wherever you is on the eastern portion of the country, so the places where the broods are being able, it's pretty much the entire, kind of middle, kind of eastern, crossing over into the midwestern portion of the United States. So like upper eastern Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, upper portion of Alabama, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Illinois, all them places. You feel me? All the way up into the Great Lakes. So I need cicada songs. It's so urgently important. So somebody please send me, a little recording of cicada songs, wherever you is. My email address is releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. Releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. So several of you, many of you have been emailing me this week saying that you finally received your crystal quartz from I did the mailing a while ago, so some of y'all are just getting it, so it's crazy. They tell you three to 5 days and it's 2 weeks or whatever. But anyway, most of y'all have gotten them. I've gotten several emails from everybody, so I'm glad that you got those. Power up. You understand? I did not go all the way across the country and go through the most crazy shit to get up in the mountains and dig for crystals at the height of that solar eclipse. Power up. You understand? So again, today is the new moon. And some of the takeaways, I'm not going to do like a deep in-depth thing about the new moon in and of itself. I'm going to do this reading for the temple that I pulled on this here new moon. But I think it's worth repeating just some basic takeaways from any new moon is that the new moon energy is about planning. It's about greeting solis. It's about charting a course. It is about recognizing where you've come from, analyzing where you are, what you can't and should not take with you as you plant and sow these new intentions and seeds, right? It is an earth sign. It's the first earth sign of every new year, Taurus. And there's a lot to take away from Taurus. Taurus, really calls on us to not be stubborn or rigid, right? Making sure that we secure our foundation as we sow these new seeds, as we rechart our course or whatever that is. Also, it's about beautifying your space, whether that's your body space or whether it's the lived in space, but beautifying your space because it gives you a sense of peace and ease. So that's big. I know I talked to y'all last week. I think was the last time I did a live about how I was just feeling this kind of energetic weirdness, this kind of inarticulable, I don't know. I still can't give voice to it. I still don't know what it is I'm experiencing, but that has not gone away. So I've been very, very gentle with myself the last couple of weeks because whatever it is I am experiencing, I know it's not just me. It's this evil, eerie calm despite the noise. This kind of, and my eyes look different. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like I went hiking a couple of days ago and nothing different. I mean, but the trees look different and like the atmosphere looked different. I don't know if that makes any sense. Everything looked like, I don't know, this space between real and not real. I'm going through something that, and y'all know me, I can talk and I can, I'm pretty colorful with my language. And for me to not be able to give voice to something, for me to not be able to articulate clearly what it is I'm experiencing is new for me. It's really new for me, but I'm not trying to force either, So anyway, I'm going to do this read today for the temple that I pulled earlier today. And let's see what we can pull from it. The other thing I will say about this new moon and being really mindful and deliberate, especially over the next 48 hours, about how you're moving, how you're talking, what your self-talk sounds like, is like seizing ownership of our personal power, that no matter how overwhelming or how big the outside world seems to be, to be very, very strategic in that which we allow into our space, that which we allow into our head, that which we allow into our heart, so that we can, at least those things that we can control, which is our immediate surroundings, which is our immediate feelings in response to the external world. That is something that we have control over if we're present and if we're deliberate about how we make moves. I saw this video today about what it called collective illusions. Collective illusions, it was like these myths. It was called debunking the 8 myths of social mass or something to that effect. Debunking the 8 myths of social math. It was really, really interesting. It was really, really interesting. And one of the things that the guy talked about was how, these collective illusions being based in a couple of things. One, when they do all of these different like polls or surveys of people in this thing that he's talking about, how people, when they are in public or in the presence of others, will answer questions one way. And then when you question them in private or in isolation, they answer those very same questions another way. The thing that gives rise to them answering the questions one way in public is because a lot of the time we are afraid of shaming and scrutiny, and our internal defense mechanisms have us to be fearful of not being a part of the group. And in that, when people were answering these various questions in these two different settings and answering differently across the board, one of the things that gave rise to them answering the question the one way in public was their perception of how others in the group would answer. Their perception of what they think others might say, how they think others might answer. And that would change radically behind closed doors. But the interesting thing was after they did all these questions and they went to, calculate, they went to calculate, my little jewelry came off. They went to calculate the differences in answers to each question, public and private, that across the board, typically the answers would be the same in public and the answers would be the same in private. So everybody is answering the question the way they perceive everybody else is going to answer the question. And those numbers were almost, neck and neck, and then turn around as the same people, the same series of questions, and they answered the same way in private. Then the private answers and the public answers were wildly different, but get them same group of people behind closed doors and their answers are damn near the same in private and in public, right? That they feel like they can be honest because they're safe in their own surroundings without scrutiny. They answer in public the way they perceive everybody else is going to answer, right? It was a really fascinating piece. And one of the things that he mentioned in terms of this, what he called collective illusions, these illusions being based on social, quote, norms and mores that have no basis in the material world in terms of how they serve us, how they protect us, how they bring us together, how they, make us separate from each other or whatever. They are just norms, even if we don't do an honest assessment of where those norms came from and how they were established, because he talked about them. You understand? And he said one of the things that contributes to that now is social media. He said we go on social media and we have these algorithms that tell us that so many people over here, have similar ideas or behaviors as you. So we're gonna, put stuff over here that relates to you or whatever. And he said that shit he said it's not arbitrary. He said the algorithm is impacted by one thing in particular. He said most people think that the ideas that are being pushed out in the world to them are like a general representation of the various ways people in this country, believe, these beliefs that they have, these ideas that they have or whatever. And then you will have these people laid up on these social media platforms, and you think that you are, having interaction with and being informed by, a myriad of people across the board. And he said, unfortunately, all the studies have shown that across media platforms, 80% of all information that we receive, he's just talking about social media. He wasn't even talking about like major media. You know what I'm saying? News outlets and stuff like that. He's talking about social media. He said 80% of the information that is out there that we consume on social media platforms are produced by 10% of people participating in these platforms. I was like, damn, that's really radical. He said, so when you are, and I've been saying that since the beginning. I've been saying that since the beginning of this damn social media, sociological project. I was like, 99.9 of this shit is police shit. When you get that weirdo just laid up on your shit trying to initiate a debate, and if you don't take debate, they're gonna try to debate with everybody in your feed that will respond to them and give. I was like, that's police shit. Them police, right? As God is basically saying, these are either bots, what they call social, he called it a word, social something bots, right? Where specific words are programmed to trigger these bots to give feedback to, right? And then he talks about the others are people who, literally lay damn near full time up on the internet, functioning as like, what do you call it? Like trying to trigger people, like trying to get people involved in some dumb shit, right? And so he said, if you can wrap your mind around, and he said, this shit is so deep, and people, since the advent of the internet, the first people to use these kind of techniques, these sociological techniques through social media, were governments. Before they were ever made public to us, they were being used by governments to shape news. And he gave several very specific examples of how this had been used in the relatively recent past, right? And it just got me thinking about, I'm not going to go that deep into it now, but it just got me thinking about, one, the kind of content that I've been making the last few weeks. And I think it's valuable content. I think it's important. But I also, from time to time, feel the need to pivot in another direction. And that pivot, I am increasingly feel like has to be more in alignment with the vision of the future that I have been articulating, as opposed to acknowledging, quote, the current ails in society. I feel like there is enough of that happening. Yes, trolls. I feel like there's enough of that happening, right, in the world. And I still, go back and forth about what is actually important to be discussing in a way that still can contribute to this, to this view that we have. This little piece, it's I think it's Big Think that did it, but the name of it is something to the effect of 8 myths debunked, 8 myths on 8 myths debunked on social mass, or something to the effect. I will find it, and I'll put it in the description after this post. But it just got me thinking about, this place that we must occupy, this space that we need to occupy, that rests comfortably between science and history and political history and sociology and psychology and quantum physics and spirituality, because there is this space where all of these things intersect, right? And more often than not, it is we will choose a point of reference, and we will not deviate from that point of reference, even if there are 5, 10, 20 different other contributing factors to this, that contribute to this point of reference that we're stuck on, right? I hope that makes sense, because the whole idea of how our perception of the world around us, the chemical and electrical response that we emanate and produce based on our perception. It's not based on the stimuli. It's based on our perception of the stimuli, right? So depending upon where a person is and what kind of experiences they have had, A door slamming may elicit like, like a fear reaction in one person, and it may elicit an anger reaction in another. Those are two separate sets of biochemical and electrical responses based on these two different people's perception of the stimulus. Hope that makes sense, because it's deep. Our perception of the world around us, which is informed by a myriad of things, including, millions and millions and millions of pieces of information that we've come into contact with and processed, whether consciously or subconsciously, informing our nervous system, informing our central nervous system, informing our peripheral nervous system, informing our endocrine glands, informing our hypothalamus and our pineal gland, and all of those things working in perfect orchestration to elicit the appropriate response that in some way or another is going to contribute to the preservation of our existence, our life in real time. That's all it's for. Our body is always working, and all the magical shit that it does, its primary goal is to sustain and protect our life as best possible until so that we can, contribute to the preservation of the species. That's what it is. The reason this becomes important is because most times, there's a way that people who are, quote, scientific, or quote, political, tend to really ignore the intricacy of the scientific process internally, what that means in terms of our social relationships, and what those social relationships contribute to the development of how we even see the world. Because again, interpretation is one of the biggest issues. I will interpret, I will respond to, my perception of some external stimuli may be totally different than the next person, which is going to determine the outcome and how our entire body, central nervous system and all that shit is going to respond, right? Though our social relationships play just as much a significant role as anything else, right? And so that's one thing. These super scientists, these hardcore, like revolutionaries and activists and things like that, these hardcore, reactionaries on the extreme opposite end, don't sit still enough to analyze those things and how we articulate those things as some kind of spiritual experience. The spiritual experience that we are constantly talking about in a million different ways are just a different language used to articulate many times. In many instances, these aren't based on some kind of abstraction. These spiritual philosophies, these spiritual practices, these ways that we articulate our personal spiritual experience or whatever, these don't come from a place of disassociation or disembodiment or abstraction, ambiguity, right? They come from somewhere. They come from a very real, materially lived experience. And again, our perception of external stimuli, all of it, whether that's stimuli that we acknowledge consciously or whether that's external stimuli that's impacting our subconscious all the time, right? And the reason that I'm saying this is because this question of, there's a lot of questions out there where spirituality is concerned. And that's the other thing. I'll say this, right? Super spiritual, political, whatever. They don't acknowledge spirituality is something as significant and real and valid, in this process of us being able to live a life. But the opposite is true as well. People who are so super spiritual, so super, like detached from the earth, or what have you, have a bad habit of being so disembodied, so disconnected, so bypassing that they that to acknowledge the material world, to live fully in the material world, right, eludes them, because somehow to be in the material world, exist in the material world, be concerned about those things happening in the material world will lessen or impede on their spiritual journey or their ascension or whatever the fuck they own on any given day. This is the divide that rests between these spaces: political spaces, historical spaces, scientific spaces, activist spaces, and spiritual spaces. This is the big chasm, the big void that exists in all of them. This is the place that we have to lay in. This is the place that we have to live in. Greetings, Carlotta. This is the place we have to live in. This is the place that we have to step into. You understand? Is how to be whole. How to be whole. And what that is supposed to afford us is the ability at any given time to think and move and behave and interact holistically. You can never achieve, quote, a holistic life if you are disembodied from the whole. You a, quote, individual. How that work? How you an individual sitting inside of a whole that's suffering? How are you, the picture and personification of perfect health, wellness, and happiness sitting in a sea of suffering? How'd that happen? How'd it work? So I'm always telling y'all that we're all sick. While one is sick, we are all sick. While one is not well, we all are not well. This ain't a stretch. This ain't a stretch. You understand what I'm saying? You would have no problem saying that a person, right, who has cancer, like identifiable now, cancer, you understand, and recognize that it took a singular cell gone rogue, a singular cell, for whatever reason, forgetting its biological mechanisms and how it is supposed to function within the whole of these other billions of cells that exist in the one, in the whole. That is you, right? That one singular cell, and it may take a long time, but that rogue cell is indicative of something wrong with the whole, not with just the cell itself. Something has happened to the whole, and the cell becomes the place where this thing that has happened and has been left unresolved manifests itself. And if it goes on longer, then that cell becomes 2, and those 2 become 4, and those 4 become 8. Until finally, after 10 years, after 15 years of those cells going rogue, right? And you experiencing symptoms all along, and you reject them, or you ignore them, or you, because of whatever, the medical system is terrible and you scared to go to doctors, whatever it is. After a while, the body will say, hey, now this ain't no shit we can ignore no more. We've been giving you symptoms. You know what I'm saying? We've been making your belly hurt. You feel me? We've been giving you all these symptoms all along to get on top of this thing, and you have ignored it. And so now here we are. Now you have to have these invasive processes done because you could not pay attention to me. That's us. That's us. There are 8.5 billion people on the planet. We the 8.5 billion cells of Mother Earth's body. And so when we have a philosophy like, I'm an individual in spite of the whole, I'm going to have my happiness and my wellness and my wealth and my abundance at everybody's expense, that's a cell gone rogue. That's a cell that's forgotten who it is in the grand scheme of the whole, how it's supposed to function. What's its predetermined destiny is. Every cell has a job to do. That job is made clear at inception. At inception, these cells say, I know exactly what my job is. When I'm supposed to die so I can be reborn as a new cell. Am I going to be a liver cell? Am I going to be a lung cell? You feel me? Every cell. This is a perfect orchestration of what we're supposed to be living in the outside orchestration. Gone rogue. Run amok. You feel me? The reason I'm saying that is because we have to live in this space where these things that are seemingly unrelated, and they're seemingly unrelated because our owners have made them so. The dichotomies have been created by our owners to do exactly what it does. These dichotomies, these chasms that lay between these things that together, working in perfect harmony, would represent a whole self within the body of the mother, a whole human race, a whole humanity functioning in accord, even with very specific differences manifested. Those differences would not be the point of contention, you see. These differences would not be seen as antagonistic if we were functioning holistically within the body of the one, right? And so all of these things that are symptoms of her unwellness, right? The hole in the ozone layer, the terrorizing of the waters and the cutting down of the rainforest and the, what you call that shit? The crisis of waste and how much waste all of these are symptoms. And just like we would treat a person, yes, we can treat the symptoms at the same time that we are getting to the root of the condition that has expressed itself as these myriad of symptoms in the first place, which is the world that we're living in. But we cannot do that. We are crisis managing is what we're doing. We've been trained just to crisis manage. Pick at every single freaking issue that manifests itself from capitalism and, colonialism and imperialism and all the isms. You feel me? To keep, what did Mary Daly say? To keep us chasing our motherfucking tails in circles. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but she said that. She said these things, yes, we become the incessant superheroes trying to save the world, but that shit is an orchestration to keep our energy diverted from what the issue is and how to adequately address it, how to get to the root of the matter so that we can heal it, exercise it if need be, root it out to pave a new way forward. And this is the space that we have to live in. We have to live in the space that bridges these chasms created to keep us distracted. You understand? And the only way to do that, one, is to study. Two, is to go out into the world and seek mentors. Talk to someone who we know knows more than we do. I tell y'all that all the time. Because that ain't no shit I'm just preaching. I'm constantly seeking out, whether it's on YouTube and out here in the world, people who know more than me. It's not going to serve anybody for me to, quote, know everything. And so my learning process, then I'm stuck in place. That's not what I'm trying to do. What I am trying to do is make the complicated uncomplicated. What I am trying to do is to destroy a strategy of creating mysteries to disempower people. Mysteries are created by those in power to disempower those that they control, dominate, and exploit. That's what all mysteries are there for. All of them. Right now, under patriarchy. That's what they're there for. Is to maintain a stranglehold on people's lives. You feel what I'm saying? Is to keep them from imagining something better. Yeah, is to keep them so distracted that they do not have a single breath to spare to daydream about what could be better in the world, how they can participate, how they can see themselves participating in the new. That's what it's for. All this noise, and I told y'all just a month ago, I said the power is ours to seize, but we have to do what? Oh my God. We have to be more vigilant now than ever to be present in every moment. To be present so that we do not become permanent, perpetual reactionaries to that shit put out to us to control, dominate, and demoralize us. This shit that exists out in the world right now, that's existed for a long time. We're treating everything that's happening right now in real time as if this is something new. It is not. What it is doing is they're feeding it to you every day. They're pushing it down your throat every day. They're fucking demoralizing your spirit with the shit every day. Every day. Every day, some legislation is coming down the pike, and the primary purpose of it is for you to see it and for you to feel disempowered by it, for you to feel discouraged by it, for you to say, damn, this shit too big. We ain't never gonna win. Buy it. That's what it's for. That's what it's for. Everybody talking about TikTok and the new TikTok, man. Everybody talking about the different ways that this society is clamping down on the rights of women. Cool. Everybody's talking about the obvious thing happening in Palestine. If they honest, they give a little bit of nudge to what's happening in Africa and the various places in Africa. You feel me? People talking about the 4B movement, just like I did last week. These things are important, and I'm not trying to diminish their importance at all. But these things that we're talking about every day, all day, have been ongoing for a long time. The genocide in Congo did not just start. It has been unending and unebbing since the 1930s. Unending and unebbing since the 1930s. You understand what I'm saying? So this thing happening in the Middle East has been unending and unebbing since the birth of that bitch. Do you understand? Why the sudden increase? Now we can say, okay, well, the reason that we're talking about it now is because of what happened on October 7th, which is bullshit. You feel me? I'm going to tell you, that was a scapegoat. October 7th was a scapegoat, a necessary false flag operation to justify what was already in the works. You feel me? That's one thing. The other thing is these things that are happening, we can acknowledge them because they will have some impact on our life. I just told y'all last week when I was talking about the 4B movement and, and these increases in violent crimes against women, not to demoralize you and not to scare you. We do have to be present. That's what it means to be present. It means to be aware, but to still be able to seize ownership on our response to the external stimuli so that we can guarantee that we are present enough to create something new. Our biochemistry allows us to do that. If our kidneys are, well, let me not even get that deep. Anyway, I'm telling y'all this because when I talk about spirituality, when we talk about like the power of manifestation, the power of affirmations, meditation, and visualization, right? We talk about, where two or more are gathered, there I am, right? When we talk about the need for women to be in circle together, right? The need for men to be in circle together, right? The need for us to put our hands on one another, right? All of these things. What I love about this period that we're in is that these things that have been always known, right? The need for human contact and touch, right? The need to dream, the importance of dreaming. And we had, philosophical and spiritual language to articulate the importance of these things. But what I love about this period, at least for me, and at least for people like me, and there are many, 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 many people like me who really comfortably walk this space that marries science and spirit. You feel me? And what I love about this period is that which our ancient ancestors understood clearly and had developed through scientific methods of observation and application, that which sounds, quote, witchy to us or ooga booga-esh to us, to the general population. As a scientist, I am so excited by the fact that so much of this has a biochemical explanation that justifies, that proves, that legitimizes that. And why would that be rocket science or anything like that to us? It is because I continue and will forever say that science is the language of spirit. Science is the language of spirit. It is. One does not, if we're thinking correctly, if we're not thinking in a very linear, Eurocentric, colonial, patriarchal mentality, then we can easily recognize and accept that this is truth. That that they still are a representation of the harmony of opposites, the yin and the yang, right? Anyway, I just felt like it was important to say that because I told y'all in March that while these energies that are coming down the pike astrologically, astronomically, these energies are going to be intense. They represent a radical potential for extraordinary and rapid change and transformation throughout society and in our personal lives. That these energies respond to what is received, especially with Jupiter still being squarely in the mix. I can only magnify what you putting out, bitch. I can only give back what you're giving. Now, I'm benevolent, so I want you to give me good shit. I want you to give me, affirmations and plans and blessings and, you know what I'm saying? But I can only magnify that which you are giving. I can only put out the information that's being input. You feel me? And so I was saying since March, I've said that several times, that these energies represent the ball on the string that swings the pendulum. And the pendulum is going, the power and the intensity and the momentum is going to really be, is really the ball. The intention of the ball, the weight of the ball, the factors surrounding the ball is what's going to determine whether this powerful momentum and energy potential is going to swing in the direction of the oppressor, or is it going to finally swing in the direction of those that have been oppressed? We determine that. That's not some disembodied, ambiguous, super Sado separated spiritual shit off the fuck in the abyss somewhere. We determine that. And so what these studies teach us, that's why science is so important. That's why these studies are so brilliant, is because the language of, quote, energy swinging in our direction, momentum being in our possession, for us to be able to use that momentum to shape something in our favor, that's not a disembodied, ambiguous statement, baby. That's a scientific statement. When you talk about collective contagia, right? When you talk about collective illusions and how they can actually test the blood of those subjects based on their perception of the information being input, how their blood is going to change, how their freaking their neurotransmitters are going to be transformed by their perception of the information being fed to them, you see. So for me to say, it's our responsibility to ensure that the energy of these once in a 25,000 year period, 25,000 year period that are being handed to us like a galactic silver platter for us to take advantage of for a change. It's our responsibility to create the opportunities and all the factors that would ensure that momentum swings in our fucking favor for a change. We have to do that. And the only way that we can do that is to be fully present. And that present being something that changes our body chemistry. So that when we come into space with others and they don't understand why they've been so burdened for so long and they're so stressed out because of all the shit on social media and TV and the world's falling apart and oh my God, Jesus is coming back to the church, and all of a sudden you step into space with information that they don't have access to yet, they have not yet heard, and something in your body, baby, something in your blood, something emanating from your heart, your EMF, your electromagnetic field generated by the SA nodes in your heart that actually create more synaptic activity than your brain do, emanates from you. And suddenly, this is based on an idea though. This ain't something disembodied that creates this something different that emanates from you. You feel me? This something different that emanates from you is because you have information that they need. And that information that you possess is radiating out based on the neurotransmitters, based on the neurological expression and the blood chemistry transformation that has emboldened you, that has given you courage. And courage has a different impact on your kidneys and on your liver than fear and shock and frustration. And so now these beneficial blood chemicals that is contributing to how the heart is sending out this EMF in your 6 foot to 9 foot radius around you, and it's touching people. And they see something. I tell y'all all the time, there are cuter people than me. You feel me? I ain't did my head in months. You feel me? I ain't got no makeup on. Can't remember the last time I put on makeup. I got on a raggedy ass t-shirt. There are people out there cuter than me. But it never fails. Never. Baby, I got off work. I had on scrubs the other night. When I got off work, it was about 11 o'clock. I was like, damn, I need a drink. Went to the bar to go get a drink. 3 different men. I'm just sitting in the corner. I'm like trying to be incognito. You feel me? I ain't got no makeup on. I've been rubbing on white people backsides all day. I'm just like, I just want to be up in here and have a drink and go about my life. You feel me? And I go up in there in my black scrubs, sitting in the corner, out of sight. 3 different men came and sat on the couch right next to me. I was like, who are you? What do you do? Oh, wow. One guy wanted to have a whole long ass conversation, child, about the movements. Regular, everyday white boy from Detroit. I don't even know why he came and sat next to me. All these beautiful people with some kind of festival or something. All these good looking people, all these beautiful people. People were, it's like some film festival or something happening out here. So everybody was glammed the fuck up. Everybody was like, it was packed in there. And so he come and sit next to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm a healer. I didn't go into detail because I call myself trying to be short, but I still don't want to be hurtful of people's feelings. I know that I know what I know about what I emanate. You feel me? So when people come to me, it's not a coincidence. It's not something out of the blue. It's purposeful. And so even though I might be annoyed, I try not to be dismissive. Right. So this dude who just was like, I think he was probably trying to mac in the beginning. But then he was like, well, what do you do? He was like, what do you do that you're getting off this late? I was like, oh, I treat people. I make alcohols. He was like, wow, that's really interesting. He was like, it's crazy. It's crazy because I was just reading something today about what it looks like for serpentine energy to move through the chakras, like what it looks like in your health. This dude is a sound engineer, white boy from Detroit, working class looking dude from Detroit, talking about, wow, you go to people's house and you heal them. It's crazy. I just read this article today, and these were his words, not mine, about how serpentine energy moving through the chakras looks in a person's presentation. Like you can tell what kind of diseases they have if the serpentine energy is stuck in a chakra. That's what this white boy said. I understand what I'm saying. All I could do was chuckle. I was like, okay, spirit, I'm listening. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I just came in here to have a drink, but okay. Why would I mention this story? Because I am always, even if I'm annoyed, even if I'm not interested in having a conversation, I know what emanates from me that people are seeking, whether they know that consciously or not. People are out here fucked up and they are looking for something that anybody who is listening and has been listening for any significant period of time knows that you have. There is something that you have that is, and I get it. We as healers be having to protect ourselves, having to be guarding our energy and shit because people out here fucked up in the world and their spirit is looking for some place to let go of their burdens. So we have to squat up. You know what I'm saying? We got to cover up. We got to put the crystals in our pockets and in our titties and shit. You feel me? That's all true. But we have something that the world needs. I'm always clear that we have something and we've been preparing for this. So that's my struggle these days is like, I don't want to put my hands on nobody else. I do not want to put my hands on people therapeutically. I feel like there is enough that I have in my lived experiences, in my head, in my education, that should allow me to afford the kind of life that I want to live without my physical labor determining my ability to or to not live well, right? And so I'm always trying to work through that right? How do I navigate this space? And if under extraordinary circumstances I need to put my hands on people, then fine. But I would much rather teach many, reproduce the skills that I have acquired in many. So it is not something that I feel burdened to do, is to use the skills that have been gifted to me to burden myself by, putting my hands on other people as much as I have been the last, like, in almost 20 years, right? But there's still, and people can determine for themselves how they use this thing that we have that is different from others, how we use this thing that people are seeking in us and do not yet know how to articulate this need that they have. But I really feel like even this thing that emanates from us, that attracts people to us and what we would think are the most awkward and unlikely scenarios and situations. You understand? I've told y'all story after story after story of people coming to me that, like the white guy that I told y'all about in Arkansas, and I called him Billy the Crystal Whisperer. This redneck truck driver with hardly no teeth and a rebel flag bandana on and some holy jeans in the middle of the mountains of Arkansas was such a wonderful, genuine human being. He had the mind of a child. He was completely inquisitive, generous, just a all around good dude. You feel me? And if I had let my preconceived notions treat him in a different way, then it would have affirmed in him some ill-received, some ill-accepted idea he got about Black folks and how Black folks can't be trusted, how Black folks mean, or how Black women mean, or whatever. You feel me? I'm not rambling. I'm making a point, and then I'm gonna get to this reading. I love the fact that we now, because some of us need it, I get it, but now we have the language and we have the information that can prove in a lot of ways scientifically what our ancestors scientifically, methodically, strategically observed and applied in real life, but everybody else said it was witchy or it was, whatever, right? Now we have the language that can narrow this chasm. You understand? So I'm excited about that. And that's why I'm always going to try to dance between these lines of science and spirit and sociology and psychology and the impact and the ins and outs, these things that are supposed to be fluidly weaving in and out of each other, right? Dichotomized through oppression. I want to teach you how to navigate this chasm that we should all be occupying the space that exists between these dichotomies that have been imposed on us. You feel me? This is how we will be able to relate to the many. This is how we will be able to relate to the masses. This is how we will be able to change people's minds about one another, recognizing that oxytocin has its poles just like everything else has its poles. Oxytocin is the love hormone. But if your perception of others is something that is outside of self, if your perception of others is that this is my enemy, they are not to be trusted, they mean me no good, then oxytocin becomes the chemical that creates aggression, that has you more prone to accept aggression against or participate in an aggression against those that you perceive as other, those that you perceive as enemy. That's deep. So while oxytocin, yes, is the love hormone, if you perceive that someone else is other, it becomes the hormone that fuels hate. Yes, deep shit. This is the purpose of understanding science and what it means philosophically. These very scientific, measurable phenomena. How do you translate that philosophically? Because that's all it is a translation. We're always fucked up by the translation. You understand? Anyway, I don't know what made me get on that, but yeah, I felt it was important. I remember why I got into that, because we're talking about us entering into this new moon. The new moon in the sign that represents the resurrection and reemergence of the Garden of Eden on earth. The Garden of Eden isn't a place on earth, it's the earth, right? The Garden of Eden is the earth, the mother to whom is Venus, the planet Venus, right? The sister of whom is our mother moon, this triple goddess, the earth, the moon, and Venus, working cyclically together to ensure the Garden of Eden, what should be the Garden of Eden, which is the mother's body, our mother earth. You feel me? And in this period that we're in, this new moon in Taurus, you know, we have to, one of the most important things is to be present in every moment, whether that means going out and hugging a tree, laying on the grass, looking at the sky, going dunking in the ocean, whatever your bag is being really deliberate about being in those environments, because being and taking in those environments is an expression of gratitude. When you observe and take pleasure in and acknowledge the earth, the body of the earth, when you're grounding, it's a relationship that you are reconnecting with. You're in these actions. This is an expression of gratitude. Ecstasy is an expression of gratitude. Orgasm should be an expression of gratitude, right? It is the active participation in reciprocity with our mother, reconnecting with this energy that is ever present, that gives us life in a myriad of ways, whether we acknowledge it or not, right? Happiness is an expression, should be an expression of a harmonious relationship with the body of the mother, right? And so these are the ways that we have to see what prayer is. I think I posted a picture a few days ago that had two different pictures of the same woman. It was split in half. One picture of the woman had her on her knees looking at a flower that was dying. She's on her knees with her hands clasped, praying, grow, 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 right? The other picture of her, and then that picture was called religion, right? Grow, grow, grow. The other picture was called spirituality, and it was her in this picture standing upright, saying thank you for growing, while she's pouring water on the flower and the sun is shining from above, and she's actively engaged in the cyclical process that ensures growth. She ain't got to have faith that it's going to grow. She ain't got to hope that it's going to grow, like the picture of religion. She got to pray. She ain't got to hope. She ain't got to have faith. That all she got to do is close her eyes and say please and please and please and please, and maybe the flower will grow. She just got to have faith that the flower will grow. She just got to have hope that the flower will grow. No, because science informs her in her genetic material, the very real elements necessary to ensure a desired outcome, which is the healthy growth of this flower. Her participation in the cyclical process is the prayer. Her participation is the prayer. Her participation is what guarantees the outcome, which is a healthfully, beautiful, growing flower. She don't have hope, and faith is not required in this scenario at all. Because why is hope and faith not required? Because certainty is in the pot. Certainty is in the mix. Why certainty? Because science informs her of certainty of the outcome. Science informs her of the certainty of the outcome. And who is the master of science? The oldest among us. Because what we call conjecture, or what we call, quote, tradition, or what we call, any name that we give to that shit, if we know that observation and participation is what yields certainty. You do not need faith. You do not need hope. You cannot be swayed by rhetoric, because science informs us of a definite outcome. A definitive outcome. That's the scientific method. So here we are, quote, religious people, not understanding the scientific method of those elements necessary to create a certain and desired outcome, can go to these motherfucking polls every 4 years. And even though we recognize historically that the gains that we have, quote, achieved through the voting process countered with the losses that have come as a consequence of the electoral process, that the gains do not even come close to the losses. And every year we complain about them. And every year we can count down the list of losses versus gains from one president to the next, from one Senate to the next, from one House of Representatives to the next, from one Supreme Court justice to the next. And the gains never even come close to the losses, yet we still pile the fuck up in these goddamn voting polls, certain, because that's where faith, that's the role that religion plays, is having you bound by two chains with balls on the end. One is faith, one is hope, that a certain number of times, and we're going to have a eureka moment, even though the science, the historical science, has taught us the myriad of ways which we have lost, way more than we have gained. We still do the shit that woman was doing in the picture, where she on her knees praying that the flower will grow. That's what hope and prayer does to you. It makes you ignore science. It makes you ignore the scientific method. It makes you ignore the process of ensuring a certain result, ensuring through observation and participation a different and desired outcome that functions in your favor. That's what that does, you see. So spirituality is the fully embodied, holistic use of all of those elements that make her certain in this other picture that all she has to do is bask in this glowing sun and take in the environment around her and pour the water. And she knows that she is not a single entity in that picture, that everything is an expression of this embodied whole that is going to guarantee the desired outcome, which is a beautiful, flourishing flower that grows. This is the dance that we must do between spirit and science, history and religion, understanding the role that religion has played in creating a globe of zombies terrorized into stupidity and submission. They are stupid for a reason. They are dumb for a reason. They are catatonic for a reason. A whole lifetime, 2,000 years minimally, of terror campaigns, of mass murder and ritual sacrifice in the form of wars, because that's what wars are, ritual sacrifice, that have terrorized them into submission, that have terrorized them against the idea of knowing more, of seeing more, of being emboldened enough to change what is, to have the confidence and the scientifically observable understanding to ensure a different outcome. We don't have to guess about what the world can be. We don't have to guess about it. The potential is ours to create, and we have all the information presently that informs us of what we don't want to recreate. We can just do it. That could be the starting point, is whatever we're going to create collectively in the future is going to be the ass opposite, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll just say the direct extreme opposite of what exists now. That's all we got to do. We ain't even got to be talking about, we want to, overthrow this, and we want to tear down this, and we need a new voting system, and we ain't got to be doing that. All we have to do is be spending that energy instead of reacting to what is, to say, acknowledge what currently is and what we don't want to fucking recreate, and start creating that. Okay, well, if this is this, what's the opposite of that? If this is the prison industrial complex and the history of it and the impact that it's had on people, what's the opposite? What is the opposite expression of justice that is not tied to patriarchy and misogyny and colonialism and imperialism and slavery and all of that shit? We don't have to keep fighting this shit and reacting to this shit, reacting to what is. What is demonstrating to us in real time what we have to create. What is the opposite? What is justice in the hands of a world where all these isms have been destroyed? Let's start creating that. The preschool to prison pipeline that helps these motherfuckers predict how many jails they need to build around fucking schools, because they create the conditions that ensure that these kids, a percentage of them gonna go to these jails, and we need somewhere to house them so we can start exploiting them right away. If we know that the preschool to prison pipeline exists, instead of spinning our wheels coming up with all the statistics about the ways that the prison industrial complex impacts people, we know what it is. We got the information now. We see the shit. Now, how do we get started right away, collectively, wherever we are and however this thing impacts our particular community? How do we build its opposition in real time? If we know that the freaking so-called medical, if we know that what we call, quote, healthcare in this country is a capitalistic, parasitic, medical industrial complex who's set up for its primary purpose is to stamp out all opposition, to stamp out any kind of alternative, for the primary purpose of maintaining just a level of sickness or unwellness that keeps people able to go to work, but does not allow them any other time to think about their future, to plan about how they're going to participate in the global future, to give them dreams and ideas of what could be. You feel me? If you know that that's part of what the medical industrial complex does, and you can recognize that you ain't got to go through and repeat all the time, all the ways that the medical industrial complex is fucked up. Now you got a clear image of what is. How do we right away start to build its opposition, channel all that rage and all that energy and all that frustration into building its opposition? We say, and we can understand clearly, y'all say it all the time, and now you hear more and more women say it now. I do not debate with men. I do not debate with men. If you have an issue with something that I am saying, then what I am saying may not be something that is feeding your spirit. If it's tormenting your demons that deep, that may mean that you ain't at the level now where this is something that can feed you. And that's okay, but you ain't gonna get on my shit and expect that you about to go toe to toe with me on my shit. That's not what's gonna happen. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna block your ass. Well, people can see that clearly. Like, yeah, don't debate with men. But we debate with the system all the time. Begging, pleading, screaming, yelling, protesting, you understand, over and over and over again. Like what? Like we really expect we about to appeal to the sensibility and the humanity of a system? People that work in the system aren't individuals. They're not individuals. They are a part of the body of a well-oiled, intentional machine, a mechanism that does exactly what it was built to do. So we out here spinning our wheels, spending all this energy, y'all. I just read to y'all a couple of months that the pamphlet that I had by V.I. Lenin on the state. I just read that to y'all. He was talking about this in the 1800s. He was this very thing that I'm talking to you about right now. He was like, yeah, poor people, oppressed people, the proletariat, the working class, they ain't got no shortage of energy. They ain't got no shortage of enthusiasm. What they don't have is a collective list of demands and vision for the future that they can all get on board with, even as they have their differences. These few things right here, we all got in common. We come together based on these things that we got. We make this our list of demands. And once we create this groundswell of energy, i.e. demonstrations, i.e. rebellions, once we create this energetic swell of energy in the millions, we can ensure a desired outcome. At the end of this swell, at the end of this wave, our demands are the ones that are met, not some individual, coons, not some individual sellout, not some individual agent stepping in front of the swell that we have made to articulate demands that are not in alignment with what we need as a whole. With what we need as a whole. You feel me? So everything becomes the issue, but the issue in an attempt to keep you from collectivizing your worldview, collectivizing the vision that you have for the future that can benefit us all. Now it becomes these cute little motherfucking chants that we do at a goddamn demonstration for a few months, and at the end ain't nobody won shit. Ain't that what happened after not Tyrone Lewis, what's his name? There ain't no shortage. There ain't no shortage. But it's always what happens. You understand? We get mad. We say some cop killer name. You feel me? Or we say the person who was murdered, they name. And at the end, the family will be lucky if they get reparations. Even more lucky if somebody actually go to jail for the crime. Because this energy, this momentum created by the masses is wrangled, used, and diverted in a direction that is not to our benefit. Yeah, I wasn't talking about George Floyd. I was talking about child. It's a crime. The baby in Florida that Zimmerman killed. You feel me? It's exactly right, Nikki. It is an energetic harvest. I saw on I forget the name of the show, but this was some years ago, maybe, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago. I saw this show. What's the dude name who played Frasier? Y'all remember the show Frasier? The guy that played the lead in Frasier, the kind of scientific guy, Trayvon Martin. Thank you so much. What was the outcome? Nothing that benefited the community, nothing that benefited the family, nothing that benefited anybody but Skittles and a goddamn Arizona tea, and you feel me? And Zimmerman, it benefited him. You feel me? Because there was no shortage of Uncle Toms standing in front of agents of the state, standing in front of the momentum created by the people who were. I was in Florida at the time. I was living in Tampa at the time. We were at some of the demonstrations for Trayvon Martin. You feel me? And so we remember in the early stages how the demand was for justice, how the demand was righteously indignant. And all you have to do is have a bunch of suit and tie wearing Negroes to divert the energy in a direction that is directly in opposition to what the original demands were. That happened with George Floyd's campaign. You feel me? Now it becomes the victim telling the criminal who has not even asked for forgiveness, I forgive you. I forgive you. This is a narrative generated by our opposition. And most of the time, then people are terrorized into saying that bullshit. 90% of the time, they are being terrorized behind closed doors to say that dumbass shit, to demoralize the group, to quell the rage of the group, to corral the energy generated by righteous indignation. You feel me? And so, the dude Frasier, that's what I was getting to. The dude Frasier, the guy who played Frasier, there was a show that he, after his little controversy and shit, a few years later, there was a show that he was in where he plays the mayor, I want to say, of Chicago. He plays the mayor of Chicago. I only saw this one episode because I was doing a client's hair while he was watching it. This dude has like his, it's not his chief of staff, but it's still like his right-hand man. It's a brother who's like his right-hand man. It's like, this dude is like his liaison to the Black community type of dude. You always see this white guy with this dude who is his, liaison. This is the dude who interprets politics for the Black community in Chicago, right? This is the episode that I saw. So when I tell you shit, always be purposeful, because I haven't watched that show again or before. He tells the dude, come to my office, I got an assignment for you. He said, because the cops had apparently killed some kid, and there were demonstrations, peaceful demonstrations happening on the streets of Chicago. The demonstrations have been going for about a week with no incident, right? Without incident. And so he calls the brother into his office. He was like, this is off record, but I got an assignment for you. I got something I need you to do for me. He said, what day is this? How many days has this demonstration been going? And he was like, about a week, and maybe about 8 days or whatever. And he says, look, have there been any reported incidences, any vandalism, any assault, anything like that? He's like, nah, man, it's crazy. He's like, the police are out, there hasn't been a single incident in a week. He said, okay. He said, do you know anybody recently released? Out. They've only been out, a week, 3 weeks, whatever, recently released. He was like, yeah, I know a gang of brothers, from my neighborhood who have been out, just a short period of time. He said, well, what I need you to do is I need you to put them on the payroll. And he was like, for what? He was like, well, according to my calculations, it's been too many years since our last riot. And we could use some of that insurance money that comes to the city every time there's a rebellion in the city. So I need you to take them 3 guys right there and give them some money, wipe out they incarceration record. And in exchange for them setting this shit off, we'll wipe their record clean. We'll give them some coins. We'll make sure they set. We'll make sure they family set. But I need them to go out and like bandanas, you feel me? Pretend they part of the crowd and start fucking up some shit, throwing some bricks through some windows. Because he said something to the effect of the last rebellion that we had, or the last quote riot we had in the city, it generated X number of billions of dollars of insurance money that was infused into the city and gave the city its next stage of development and growth. Y'all get what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm telling you? Lenin said over 120 years ago, this state will always surf the wave generated by the oppressed. The state will always surf the energetic momentum generated by the oppressed masses who have not articulated keenly and definitively their own material interests. And the state will use anybody to do it. The state will use artists to do it. This is not me saying this. This is V.I. Lenin saying this in the late 1800s. He said the state will use artists, the state will use musicians, the state will use preachers and priests, the state will use whoever it needs to surf the wave of the momentum generated over and over and over and over and over again by the oppressed masses to build something and win something for itself at their expense. So all this energy they expend, all this yelling they do, all this money they lose, not going to work or whatever, all this energy that they produce has never benefited them. Because again, if you go just through the last 100 years of rebellions, successful revolutionary struggles, not revolutionary movements, revolutionary struggles. And you go through country through country through country through country, community through community, rebellion, movement, and do an honest list, an honest historical assessment of gains versus losses. All that energy, all that movement, all that momentum, always directed to serve the state. That's what parasitism is. That's what it means for a society to be parasitic at birth, parasitic in its inception. Everything that it does is parasitism. Everything that it builds is parasitic. Why you act confused about the medical system? Why you act confused about the educational system? Why you act confused about the so-called judicial system in this country? Y'all be acting confused when y'all out there fighting them. Y'all be acting confused about what it is you looking at. I'm not confused. I'm not confused about why these institutions function the way that they do. They are parasitic by nature. They are parasitic by design. They are parasitic by design. You understand? So again, if you can accept and recognize that these institutions function exactly the way that they are developed to, created to, implemented to, then you can crystal clear see that what it is, acknowledging what this is, how do I build and generate its opposition? If the issue at hand is this thing happening in the Middle East to Palestinians, is what it is, and you recognize the history, the length and the development, the growth, the inception of the Israeli state as parasitic from inception. Intentions clearly laid out to be parasitic. At what juncture did the parasite let go the host? While y'all saying ceasefire, that's all y'all fighting for, ceasefire, ceasefire. That's not going to resolve the problem that exists in the Middle East. A ceasefire. That's what y'all articulating. You understand? Because you ain't even honest enough to say what you want to say, because they have terrorized you so that you cannot say what you want to say. What you know it is the right thing to say. That no group of people have a right or a predestined right to exist at the expense of another. No nation, nowhere on earth. You understand? You understand? So, this is what we're looking at. And I've had several people ask me, have you gone out to UCLA for the Nope. Don't even flinch when I say it. Nope. Are you pro-Palestinian? Have been for 20 years. And you ain't going to the demonstrations? No. Participate in the boycott? Cool. Been doing that for longer than a lot of you been alive. That's not a problem. But me going out and doing a demonstration when even the man that y'all love and hail as one of the great thinkers of socialist ideology said, why y'all keep spinning y'all wheels at these goddamn demonstrations? Why y'all keep participating in these swells of rebellions without going into this shit strategically with a clear goal in mind and objectives that contribute to the fulfillment of that goal, that guarantee that after life is lost, after you done got yourself knocked over the head, after y'all done engaged in some kind of political struggle, you the one that wins something in the end. Here we are, 30 something years later. He was clear. That book reads like it could have been written yesterday. Here we are. It's doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Yeah, millions and millions and millions of y'all gonna head out to that motherfucking poll this year. Still holding on to this wicked, diabolical philosophy of choosing the lesser of two evils. One is a genocidal megalomaniac feigning senility, feigning cognitive decline, feigning oldness to galvanize sympathy. What did I tell y'all? Biden is the poster child for strategic and weaponized incompetence. He is the poster child for the government executing strategic and weaponized incompetence to neutralize you. You understand? He is a willing, enthusiastic participant in the genocide of the indigenous people of Palestine. He is a willful, enthusiastic participant and facilitator of war crimes. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. You understand? And then, so these are your options. A willful, enthusiastic facilitator of and participant in genocide in real time. Or the other genocidal megalomaniac who's the target of his genocidal attacks, listen, rest over decades. Because it's easy for you to see Biden as a genocidal megalomaniac. It's so difficult for you to see Trump as a genocidal megalomaniac because the objects of his genocidal exploits were black-skinned people. Black-skinned folks. That's the history. That ain't conjecture. That ain't my opinion. You look at his time in New York. You look at the crimes he committed against black people in New York. That's genocide. What are the articles of genocide? Intent to destroy members of the group. complicity in genocide against the group. What's the other one? Acts meant to remove children of the group away from the group. The articles on genocide are very crystal clear and easy to understand. You understand? So anyway, yeah. So y'all gonna do that, no matter despite the fact that me and many others have told you for some time, to participate in the institutions of the state is to legitimize the state. That's why I've never voted in a presidential election. I will never vote in a presidential election. Never. Now, while I will participate in local electoral politics, I will never legitimate the state that I am 1,000% diametrically opposed to. Fuck the Constitution. Goddamn the Bill of Rights. How we just accept this shit and it never had any of us in mind. That shit didn't have black people in mind, didn't have native people in mind, didn't have yellow people in mind, didn't have brown people in mind, didn't have women in mind, didn't have children in mind, still don't have children in mind. It was clear. And because we can amend it, we can create mutations in this wicked goddamn instrument that is being held over our heads all the time, as if this is the only personification of justice that we can possibly envision, we can possibly understand. Women still aren't considered equal citizens in the United States based on that same piece of paper. We cannot even imagine creating a new and opposing constitution. We have deified the Constitution. We have deified. The Constitution is America's Bible. You feel me? We can see in our personal relationships how the Bible has harmed us, how the Bible has cast spells on our goddamn brains since we was children. We can see that right now in real time. But cannot see how the Godhead called the United States of America its primary weapon of choice are the philosophical ideas imposed in your goddamn consciousness that have you joint at the hip with this bitch, even as it's kicking your ass every day. Even as it's kicking your ass every day. You understand? So I don't know. I don't know what we I don't know. All I know is what we know. What I know is that's the only way forward, is to build institutions of dual and contending power. Whatever we see, acknowledge it. Don't be a bypasser. Don't be putting on evaders and blinders. Face it. See what it is. Analyze its history, all the things that have contributed to its personification in the world, and build its opposition. Create its opposition. That's it. Dual and contending power is the only way to create the new. It is the only way to generate the new. Seeing a thing and what it does and how it behaves, and being honest in your analysis of what it is, and then generate the new, the extreme opposite of it. That's it. That's all. You feel me? We need to be creating new paradigms of the execution of justice based on what we already know. We ain't even got to create it from the new. We can take old ideas and transform them in a way that suits us in the here and now, and let that be an organic instrument that has the ability to grow and lose appendages if need be. You feel me? I did a presentation a few months ago about the Fates and the Furies, the Moray, right? Nemesis as the goddess, right? The Iami, Ajay in Ifat tradition, Sekhmet in Kemetic tradition, Hecate, Pele, Kali. These are full embodiments of the mother. These are full generative and destructive embodiments of the mother. You see, they have stories that tell us what the execution of justice, genuine justice, not blind justice. Justice don't need to be blind. Genuine justice in its execution, spearheaded by the energies of the mothers, can look like in the world, and how it can harmonize the world. You feel me? I just read something to y'all last week about the history of what do they call them? Sex boycotts. The history of sex boycotts. And how in what did they say? In pre-colonial Nigeria, the women were the executors of justice. They were the ones that determined the quality of justice, the execution of justice. The women did that. And the men yielded out of respect for the embodiment of the mother. They yielded. You feel me? This is the work. God damn it. Now that I've been talking for an hour and 29 minutes, I may have to change. Let me see if I can go through this reading in 30 minutes. That is, what do you call it? Highly ambitious. But let us see. Okay, because that was the whole reason I got up on here, was to tell y'all that I did a reading for the temple today on this year new moon in Taurus that y'all need to be privy to. You feel me? And like I say, and I will always say, from the reading, if it resonates with you, then it is for you. If it does not apply, keep it moving. Who it's for is who it's for. If it speaks to you, it does. If it don't take it personal. You feel me? So let's see if I can go through this. I did a 9-card pull. I think it's really ambitious to think that I'm going to be able to go through this in 30 minutes, but we gonna see. So the first card, I'm gonna show it to the IG people first, is the Apprentice of the Bowls. So I'll let you see it for a moment. I'll let y'all see it for a moment. The Apprentice of Bowls. See the heart in that child's chest. See the energy emanating from the bowl through the heart, through his third eye and crown chakra into the third eye of the person standing behind him. Y'all see that? These images are meaningful, and so that's why I always show them to you, okay? So this card is about improving your ability to communicate with those that you call loved ones. And that could be external family, that could be actual blood family. And the reason that you need to strengthen the communication, because you see, they're not communicating by mouth, right? They're not communicating by mouth. Strengthening your communication with those that you love, every person in your life, through the immersion of your higher self. These things that we've been talking about this whole time, right? Like this chasm that needs to be, filled with us, that separates these things, these abilities for us to communicate with one another, because I'm super scientific, or I'm super spiritual, or I'm a historical political analyst, or whatever, creates these chasms that do not allow us to be able to communicate efficiently and effectively what it is we all long for. These things become the stalemates that make it impossible for us to fill the chasm and say, oh, I can think in a myriad of ways and see how these different things impact and inform what it is my specialty is. You feel me? So it's great that this card is coming up. This card is telling you that you have to really focus on, really begin to improve your ability to communicate. Now, the way I feel about this card, especially the position that it's in, especially with what we're talking about today, this isn't just your blood family or your immediate friends around you. This is your global family. This card right now in this position, in the first position, is about our global family. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful that this card falls as the first card. And I just spent an hour and a half talking to you about how we have to bridge this chasm so that we can communicate in a way that everybody can understand, that everybody can be one to, that everybody can see themselves in one way or another, right? Let's see. Yep, the other thing that this card really talks about is the other thing this card talks about is your strengthened sense of intuition. One of the quotes from this card is and I said this about an hour ago, right? The disembodiment of spirituality and why so many people are frustrated by how spirituality presents itself these days as spiritual bypassing this disembodied, ambiguous version of spirituality that is in no way informed by or in touch with the material world. This card literally says that you learn by doing and reviewing. You would not be this far in your life had you not developed qualities in yourself that you can trust, right? Trust the magic that is within, because all of our goals, whether this is me paraphrasing, all of our goals, whether we realize it or not, is God realization. God realization. You feel me? So when I talked earlier about how there's something that emanates from us, those that are doing the work, those that are in the know, there is something that is emanating from us that people respond to, that people know their spirit is tagging them, their spirit is poking at them. Go sit down and talk to her. Go sit down and talk to him. They got something you need. Feel me? I love this card as the first position. Let's go. The next card is also, so I will just say, most of you are familiar with the major arcana. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do a 9-card spread. 5 of this spread are major arcana. 5. So the second position is what is known as the seed card. The seed card in the traditional deck is the Fool. Okay, so I'll let y'all see it. Yeah, I'm saying it is the seed card. This is a major arcana card. Okay, so this card, the seed, the Fool, is about beginnings. And isn't it interesting that we are here at the beginning? We are in this new moon. We are in the time of what? Planting new seeds, right? The second position is about greetings, Frank. The second position is about how we must go forward, how we must chart our course. The second position, which is the card that I just pulled, whatever falls there is about this bridge that we must cross. Well, we're at that bridge. Today is the new moon, right? And so this card is about obviously beginnings, being open to the flow. But even more than that, it says, I'm going to read this quote. I am the Fool, a seed being carried by the wind. I am the first step in the process of manifestation. I am the idea that inspires life. I am inexperienced, yet within me lies the plan for my perfect unfoldment. To me, there is no time like the present in which to begin my journey. It goes on to say, I carry memories, my talents, my hopes, my dreams, my fears, and concerns in the bowl of myself. Just as you carry within your cells just as you carry these within the cells of your own body, I carry the seed of self into every adventure. My fears summon me to prepare and make ready to overcome any danger that might be ahead. The light of the sun illuminates my way. By earth, mother of all creation, I am nourished. Through movement and change, I grow. My path is revealed as I walk on. Now, let me just tell you about this card. Let me tell you about this position and this 1.5 hour diatribe that I just did. When I talked about the image that I just posted a couple of days ago, that is the same woman. And in one picture, she's praying that the plant will grow, right? She ain't doing shit. She's just on her knees praying, please grow, please grow. And they call this religion. And then on the other side, you feel me? She is, they call this spirituality, and she is fully participatory in the process that ensures growth. She is fully participating. She is fully immersed in the process that is guaranteeing her desired outcome, which is the plant to grow. So our first card, right, is telling us that we need to learn how to communicate, right? The second card is saying this is what the creative process looks like. It is recognizing that even as you appear brand new, this is the beginning. This is what, this is the inexperienced. This is the seed, right? That's why this card is called the seed card. This is the seed. The seed is just a seed. if you're looking at it. But just like our logo here, the cosmic egg, right? The logo here. It just seems to be a seed, but within it is all the evolutionary information of the beginning of that plant, which is guaranteed to manifest or emerge from that seed if all the elemental factors support its emergence as a tree or as a flower or whatever. The information is within you. You are the seed. You are the seed with all the potential, with all the memories, with all the lived experiences, not only of your life, but all of those who have contributed to you, have poured into you as DNA, as ancestral memory, right? This is about nourishing yourself. This is about providing all the elemental factors that are guaranteed for you to fulfill your destiny, because that's what manifestation is about for us. It is about the fulfillment of destiny. It is about the ongoing evolutionary and emergent process that makes us new every day. And in a positive way, it makes us better every day, because every experience that happened the day before ensures that we are better than we were the day before, right? And so I love this card. And the exercise for this card is this week. I love the fact, and so I think I tell y'all this before, but I will reiterate it for those who have never seen me live, that every divination I've ever received, I've always learned from my mentors that when you receive any type of divination, it is most potent and best to act in some way, take a step in some way in the direction of the fall of the reed within 7 days. Within 7 days of the reed, take one identifiable step in the direction of the fall of the reed. So this card gives you exercises. This week, do something you have always wanted to do and not yet done, right? So I'm gonna go on. So that's a great card. The next card too is a major arcana. It's what we call the pierced shield. It's the pierced shield. It corresponds to the Tower card in the traditional deck. And I know y'all all be like, ooh, the Tower card. But I love this deck for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I love this deck for a reason. This deck, there's no doom and gloom. It's what to watch out for. It's be present so you can see where potential pitfalls may lay, right? So this card, which is the pierced shield, it is corresponding with the Tower card in the traditional deck. Pierced shield. I love this card. And you see close, there's a phoenix behind that eagle. You feel me? There's fire underneath the eagle. There's a lightning strike apparently hitting the eagle. There's a lot going on in this card. Okay? This is a pierced shield. Its name or its meaning, its energy in this card is the Revolution card. And the affirmation for this card says that as old structures dissolve, my good evolves. As old structures dissolve, my good evolves. I am filled with the spirit of new inspiration. False concepts are destroyed as I release that which limits my joy and well-being. Ain't that what I just spent the whole first hour and a half talking about? Dual and contending power. That's what this card just said. The Revolution card that's got the freaking bolt of Oya tearing down striking at the heart of old institutions, the bald eagle, the symbol of the Father God system. It's the Revolution card. And it says just what I was telling y'all, in the need for dual and contending power. Your ability to evolve, your ability to grow, your ability to experience good and joy and well-being can only come through the simultaneous destruction of that which has impeded your evolution, which has impeded your ability to be happy, which has impeded your ability to live well and experience joy. These things, listen, our happiness cannot coexist with oppression. It can't. I said that all the way at the beginning. Our happiness, our wholeness, our wellness cannot exist. Parasitism doesn't allow it. Cannot exist while these institutions still run amok on the planet. We spent the whole second part of that damn lecture I just did talking about the importance, the necessity of recognizing and acknowledging what currently exists and knowing full on the only way to address it is to dismantle it through what? Through the simultaneous building of institutions of dual and contending power that represent their extreme opposite in function and behavior, in goal, in strategy. That's it. I'm not a pacifist. This is not a pacifist ideology. To build institutions of dual and contending power is to put you in a contest with the state. So that's anything but passive. But the other thing is to outwardly challenge through activity, through movement, that we can build something better than is. We can build something better than what already exists, right? And then this card is talking about simultaneously the outside world, which is what I started with. What did I start with? That it is our perception of the outside world. It is our perception of external stimuli that determines the health outcome on our physical body. It's our perception of the world around us. This card is saying the same thing. That while we talk about the outside world and the systems and the structures that impact our life, we also have to simultaneously be addressing what this means in our internal life, in our internal world. This internal dialogue that I talked about earlier of hopelessness. You understand? Of choosing the lesser of two evils instead of creating a whole new paradigm that destroys the system of evils in the first place, lesser or greater, right? To challenge and allow to be burned away, which is why the Phoenix is in this card, to challenge and allow to be burned away those ideas that we hold on to that stay the process of evolution. Do you understand? It says, it is the end of saying, I can't help it. That's just what I feel. That's just how I was raised. I've always done it like that. I don't know no other way, right? I'm paraphrasing again. But it says, there is a realization happening in you right now of a greater cosmic will working through you. And in order for this cosmic will to work through you, you have to end those things, those ideas that you hold on to that limit, that feed fear, that feed uncertainty, that have you on your damn knees hoping and having faith instead of actively participating in a material process and a spiritual process that ensures a very certain definitive result. That's what this card is saying. Yeah, look. The tower falls so that you may grow, and like a lightning bolt, I clear the air. My light pierces the darkness. The experience of me is one of great intensity. Yep, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. This shit gotta go. I strike to convert your energy to better current use. Yo, I'm always telling y'all about the power of this deck, yo. Wasn't I just talking about the energy, momentum created by our righteous indignation, and how Lenin was always talking about that energy is a material force, baby. That's not in our heads. It's measurable, this momentum that we keep creating. And that's why they find it necessary to find someone on their behalf to surf that wave and galvanize the momentum from it. Here she say right here. I strike as lightning to move your energy to a better current use. Yeah, come on in the room. I may destroy your old job, your old relationship, your old viewpoints and ideas, or whatever it is that is in the way of your current potential. As you move through these situations, remember your good cannot be destroyed. Only that which is oppressing you is dissolving. Woo! Yo. That's a card for your ass. You understand? That's a card for your ass. That's all y'all. That's all y'all. She said, look, at the time that I have to come through and get to work, y'all been laying up in this shit too long. Y'all been sitting in this golden cage too long. You feel me? Y'all been sitting in your own shit too long. You've been sitting in a house where your funky socks done piled up to the roof and you still can't smell your own funky ass socks. At the juncture that I come into the room, at the juncture that I come into the space, Pluto in Aquarius right now, which is the personification of the revolution card, Pluto in Aquarius. All y'all meeting, linking up with her husband, Shango, for the first time in several hundred years. Feel me? When I come into the room, baby, I'm wrecking all this shit. So put on your big girl draws. Make sure that your intentions are just and in right accordance, because this gonna hurt even for you. But just know that on the other side of this is everything that has been waiting for you. Every blessing that's been waiting and couldn't get through, couldn't wade through. Because all this shit in your way, old jobs, old ideas, old mores, old relationships, all this shit been in your way. Blocking blessings left and right, to and fro, up and down. When I come up in the room, I'm trashing all this shit. Because that's the only way you can grow. Right? This is another, I like this whole card. So I'm gonna read you another quote. If you have been making affirmations in order to change your life, you must realize that all that restricted you must be shaken loose. Remember too that whether you consciously affirm change or not, every thought affirms a reality. Is this the one that you want to reinforce? Is the thought that you are thinking, is the affirmation out your mouth that you are saying one that you want to reinforce? That's why I'm always telling y'all, we have to be careful about what we're talking about. We have to be careful about what we focusing our energy on. We have to be careful about regurgitating statistics of the myriad of ways things are fucked up. That's why I said in the beginning, I have to pivot, especially this month, on what I'm giving my energy to when I'm talking to you. Because the last few lives, I get it. Some people have even complained about it. Like, damn, this shit is really distressful. You feel me? I believe that everything that I've said is purposeful, necessary. And it might get intense, but it's to explain. It's to heighten your awareness. It's to heighten your consciousness. But I also was aware this week, before I even got on this call, I have to pivot what I'm going to be talking to you guys about this month. That's why I started by saying I'm going to do this reading. We have to pivot. We have to affirm the new. We have to speak conspiracies that only serve us and the execution of the future that we want to create. That's the pivot. The language that I have to focus on, because we just came out of that Aryan sign. We just came out of the war sign. It's probably why I had fire on my tongue all month. You feel me? It's probably why I had fire on my tongue all month. You understand? But now, in this energy of this super new moon in Taurus, this potential to recreate heaven on earth in the Garden of Eden, this is the pivot that I had to make today. And the pierced shield tower, the pierced shield, the tower card, it's just a reiteration of that. It's just a reiteration of that. It says, if every thought affirms a reality, is it the one you want to reinforce? What is it that you are reinforcing every moment when you speak, even to yourself, in your head? What are you affirming? Oh my God, I got bills to pay. Oh my God, I need a new job. I've been doing that a lot. Oh my God, I need a new job. Oh my God, I got bills to pay. What are you affirming? What reality are you affirming? Can you, in the energy of this new moon, be deliberate about where you focus your energy, about how you use the power of your tongue and your third eye to see in that third eye and speak it out of your mouth only that which affirms the future that you are in the process of creating. You understand? You constantly create your life through the use of unseen forces of thought and image. You understand what I'm saying? Through the elimination of those concepts that limit you, that limit your good, that limit your energy, and that energy is released to serve the whole. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I knew this wasn't going to happen in no half hour. Anyway, the next card is the Five of Stones. I have to look closely at this card because there's a lot happening in this card, and you will lose the meaning if you are not paying attention to the seemingly small details. So I'll leave that there for a second. Shift it over here to those of you who are on StreamYard. A lot going on in this card right here. You feel me? A lot going on. All right. That's the Five of Stones. This card has been coming up a lot. I've been reading a lot more lately. So if you want to get a reading, let me know. This card is a word. This card is a word. The Five of Stones, which corresponds to Five of Pentacles or the Five of Coins in the traditional deck, is called the giveaway. Now this card is about, so you may feel this. I feel this. Like I got goosebumps just pulling the card. I feel this. This card is talking, so it's calling it the giveaway. It's talking about changing your perception of a loss. That something, you have lost something recently. Something has left your life and it was significant and it was probably painful or uncomfortable, right? This card is challenging you right in line with the previous card. Right in line with the previous card, the Pierce Shield. This card is challenging you to shift your view of this loss and to see it as a necessary giving away of something that was holding you back. What did the Pierce Shield say? The Pierce Shield said, baby, I'm about to run through all your shit. I might challenge you to get a new job. I might challenge you in a way that has you getting fired or getting laid off. I might challenge you in your relationship with your boo that you done been in with a long time, but y'all ain't growing, y'all ain't evolving, and it ain't really executing something that is benefiting your best outcome. So I might have to run through your relationship. You feel me? The Pierce card just said that. Recognize that when these losses happen, it is just me sternly moving out of the way that which has been staying your progress, that which has been impeding your ability to break through, to emerge, to leap forward, to receive blessings. Just waiting, always waiting on the periphery for you to clear the space, but you refuse. You feel me? Here, the Five of Stones says it's just a follow-up to that same energy. It's like, look, I know, baby, it's painful. You lost something recently. Something that happened recently that didn't hurt your feeling. It's been hard for you to shake it. It's been hard for you to move from it. This card says, instead of getting attached to the feeling of loss, try instead to see it as a necessary giving away of an experience, of a job, of a boo, whatever. You understand? An opportunity. See it as a necessary giving away. This giving away necessary to help you evolve, to prepare you to get ready for more, for better. See it that way. You understand? It guarantees that change is near. If you can do this, if you can make this shift in your own mind, that it guarantees that a necessary and positive change is right on the precipice. You feel me? Love that for you. Love that for y'all. Love that for me. You feel me? I needed this kind of good news today. The next card, I'm moving fast, I know. The next card is another major arcana. It is the grandmother's card. I love this card. It corresponds with the moon card in the traditional deck. This is the grandmother's card. A lot going on in this card too. Lot going on in this card. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh. Yes. Come on in the room with this card right here. I love this card. So let's see here. Grandmother's card. Let's see here. We still got several cards to go. So this is great because it's still moving along with the general energy of this read. The first two cards focused heavily on tapping into and strengthening your own intuition, right? Being able to use your intuition to communicate, to establish a new level of communication with your extended family. That's the people that are emanating to you, right? Coming to you based on what you're emanating out of. The seed is tapping into your ancestral intuition, right? All the memories, all the lived experiences, all the thoughts, all the ideas and beliefs trapped or residing within the seed that represents nothing but limitless and boundless potential, right? Cool. This card is called the intuition card. And the opening affirmation of this card is that it's right back to the seed card. All that ever was or will be is now within me. My body incorporates the planetary dream and most personal love into a life grace-filled. The primary takeaway from this card is trust your body. Isn't what I spent the whole first hour talking about? The integration of lived experiences, learning how to articulate and see the similarity between the language of science and the language of spirit. They both are true. It is a different way to articulate and explain the same thing. What did I say? Our spiritual experiences are informed by our material existence. This card said the same thing. Trust your body. If nothing else, trust you. Why? Because within you is all that ever was and all that ever will be. That's why the necessity for institutions of dual and contending power, being aware of what exists, and in that awareness, recognizing and analyzing that which you do not want to recreate while you are simultaneously building the institutions of the new, creating the opportunities for the new to emerge. That's this card. You understand? And then it goes on to say, thought and action, which has also been a defining theme throughout the first part of this read. The integration of spirituality, ideas of spirituality being integrated, analyzed, tried, tested, discerned through action in the material world. Because the idea is not enough. It is the execution of the idea in the material world with action, actionable discernment that ensures what? A desired outcome, like a flower growing, because you are fully participating in the elemental process, in the cyclical process that guarantees its outcome, that guarantees the growth. You feel me? This card. You understand? The warning for this card, which I also love, the warning for this card is that the period that we're in, again, what did we say this period was that I've been talking about for quite a long time, but even more specifically since March, since some heavy movements in March. What have I been telling y'all? The energy of the period that we're in, Pluto in Aquarius right now, intensified by this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we just moved out of, but we still squarely in the body of, squarely in the mix of, right? This is an enormous, and plus that damn eclipse that just happened and handed everybody they goddamn ass. You feel me? This is an enormous amount of energy potential, the seed in this read. This is an enormous amount of potential. This is an enormous amount of energy. And this card warns that if you are not tapping into and using this energy creatively, if you are not tapping into and using this energy potential, this excess of energy, if you are not using it creatively, if you are not spending it creatively, The quote is, you may begin creating excess body in the form of fat, in the form of cancer, or even perhaps in an entirely new person, like a baby. Okay? Your imagination gives form to the creative energy. You feel me? So this card is a big one, because that takeaway I really love, because I have been really maybe almost subdued. There's so much going on, and it's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day necessities, right? The day-to-days that we put we put the execution of creative energy on the back burner. We say, oh, we'll do it another day. I can't really afford to create today. I can't really afford to do X, Y, and Z. My big issue right now, my teacher just kicked my ass about it, was how everything comes before my sitar practice, right? Like everything takes precedence, instead of me just being disciplined enough to say, okay, the first 30 minutes of the day, I'm just going to do it and go ahead and get it out of the way, right? Putting those creative necessities on the back burner. Just as necessary creative energy, and the spending of creative energy is just as necessary for your health and your sanity as drinking water and eating dark leafy greens. But we always find a way to put that on the back burner. This card warns that if you do not use, spend, burn that creative energy in creative pursuits, that it has the potential of becoming harmful, physically harmful. So whatever it is, your first major arcana told you. What was the exercise for the first major arcana, which was the seed card? The first major arcana said, this week, do not pass go, do not stalemate. This week, do something you have never done but have always wanted to do. Spend the creative energy. You understand? So, and then the self-questioning for this card is, do I use my talents and abilities creatively in this world? Do I listen to my intuition? What would happen if I do these, right? So that's the warning for this card is, I'm giving you a lot. That's the energy for the card. I'm giving you a lot in your dreams. That's why the card looks the way that it does. I'm concretizing information. I'm reminding you of past experiences, both in this life and the past life. I'm giving you all that you need. I'm giving you all the goods. I'm giving you everything you need to execute those dreams. Are you using what I give you creatively? Okay? That's what the grandmothers are saying. All the goods I done gave you. What did I talk about earlier? The galactic silver platter that's been handed to us. How are we using it? You understand? The grandmothers are saying the same thing, baby. Are you putting to good use that which I have given you? The gold that I have given you. The gifts that I have given you. Child. There's a word. There's a word. You feel me? Interesting, because one of our second card, third card, yeah, it was our third card it was the fourth card. That was the 5 of stones, and the next card is the 6 of stones. Now, the stones as a suit are important. Y'all are familiar with the coins of the pentacles. They represent your material wealth. Now, in this deck, it's not just actual physical wealth as in terms of like material items that you have purchased or own or money. It is a representation of all the resources that you have at your disposal. Human resources, you feel me? Opportunities that those human resources represent, you feel me? And your material wealth, those things that are in your immediate environment, your savings, your money, whatever. So it's interesting that we've got the number 5 card and the number 6 card. I love this card. The number 6 card, the name of the card is Restoring Balance. You see this? And I'm constantly talking through this whole read about what? Living cyclically. Living cyclically. Living in living in reciprocity. You understand? This card is called Restoring Balance. So you see this person is making an offering to the water while simultaneously benefiting from the sun, while simultaneously benefiting from the rich oxygen coming from the trees. You understand? You see, they've got their canteen right next to them. So you can assume they're benefiting from the fresh water that they're making an offering to. This is what it means to live cyclically and in harmonious balance with the Mother Earth. She gives and you receive, you give and she receives. You see, I love this card. So this card calls you the steward of wealth, the steward of wealth, right? This card I love because this card is talking about reciprocity in a myriad of ways. One being which I talked about on this live an hour ago, right? How I didn't want to put my hands on anybody anymore, that I know enough, I've learned enough, I have enough learned and lived experiences that I should be able to teach, to create mini me's in terms of the dissemination of information, right? I should be able to teach others everything that I know, how I've learned it, to make that easier for them, right? And to be able in return to be able to live the life that I would like to live, the life that I want to live, right? Where I'm well, all my needs are met, whatever, right? This card is reiterating that energy. This card focuses a lot on another aspect of this live that I did, which was about the need to teach, the need for us to disseminate information by communicating in a different way. Communicating what? Intuitively. That's what the first card says, right? Is to communicate. Remember I said they're not talking, yet they are still communicating. You understand? They're not talking, yet they're still communicating. And I talked about what we emanate out from us that's different, that draws people in, that causes people to seek us out, right? This card is saying we have to strengthen the intuition that allows us to do that. Teaching is one of the biggest ways to ensure the restoring or the restoration of balance. And this card, the other thing that this card tells, not just ambiguously, like sharing your skills, teaching others, reproducing yourself and others to shorten their walk or to make their walk less difficult, right? But this card also calls on you this week to make an offering of some kind. And typically not an ambiguous offering, not like, now I won't say ambiguous, but not like an earth offering. This card calls on you to look at your life, the successes of your life, where you are right now, and to do an honest assessment of everyone that has helped you get to where you are, how they helped. Was it taking care of you? You know, was it providing a clean place for you to live and be safe? You know what I'm saying? Is it a mentor that, you know, gave you this new view on life or whatever? This card specifically says you need to make an offering to someone who has participated in where you are right now. Someone that in some way has contributed to the you that you are right now. Now is a time to make an offering to them. And I know what some of y'all gonna say. Y'all default is gonna be to make an offering to your mama. Your mama is a given. This Mother's Day is this weekend, so she ain't eat. You gonna do that anyway. Make an offering to someone that has contributed to who you are, that has contributed to your evolution. You understand? That has contributed in some way. A mentor, a teacher. I see you, Nikki. I see you. I knew that was what was going to be our default. That's why I tried to preempt it. You feel me? Yes. And even when you get your Mother's Day gift this week, make sure that it's more thoughtful than you usually would give them something. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you spend a little bit. That's the energy of the offering. So, but your mama don't count. Think about someone else that you haven't thanked. You know what I'm saying? That you haven't made an offering, an actual offering to, you know, who has contributed to your life, who has added to your life in some way, right? So that's the energy of this card, is restoring balance. Okay. The next card is another major arcana. It corresponds with the Temperance card in the traditional deck. It is known in this deck as the blend card. This is another favorite of mine, and it's so beautifully in line with the whole read. The affirmation for this card says, "The inner alchemist mixes everything that I have ever known, thought, or said into a perfect blend. Order is easily bestowed on my life." I'm gonna read this card. I'm sorry. I know I don't usually do that, but I'm gonna read this whole card. I love this card. This card's energy is integration. But y'all can already vibe where it's going, right? Because the whole freaking 9 card read has been the temperance card, has been the blend card, right? Using your intuition to understand how to communicate differently with those that are your family. What did I explain the family was? The extended family, not your immediate family, not people you already like, not people you already love. Your extended family, those around you, the world, right? Recognizing that even as we are emerging brand new on this new moon, with all the unlimited and boundless potential that is represented in the energy of the seed, that within the seed is all the information necessary to ensure a certain outcome. If all of the elements, see all the elements, if all the elements are in place, the sun and the joyous participation of the one, of her, right, throwing the seeds in a place where it's obviously going to grow. There's green grass and green cheese and water and sun. And she becomes an integrated part of this definitive outcome that is certain, because all the potential rests in the seed. In this picture, she is the seed. You are the seed on this here new moon. You feel me? What else does the blend card working with? That while all this potential exists, that requires your intuitive new way with new ideas to communicate with your extended family. Who is your extended family? The others of us that exist within the mother's body, within the earth, right? And using that energy to contribute to the radical potential that exists in the seed. What did I just say about this Jupiter and Uranus, us being in the Garden of Eden right now in Taurus, in this Taurus new moon? This is the seed, right? The intuition of the blend, the energy of the blend card contributing to, while this energy is guaranteed, right? This potential, this increasing and strengthening intuition to be able to communicate across seemingly unrelated lines, right? The Pierce Shield says, but look, just realize the potential is radical. The outcome is certain. But as a part of this whole process, the shield can be cracked. When this energy of the tower or the shield comes down, it is a sometimes forceful moving out of the way that which has prevented your evolution, has prevented you from making these leaps forward, which has stagnated the growth process, stagnated your boundless and limitless potential. These things that stand in the way. And I am telling you, it is purposeful, that this is a freaking bald eagle, and behind it is the energy of the phoenix, because the eagle in every culture, in every modern culture, is a representation of the Father God. The eagle is a representation of the Father God. The phoenix is a representation of the destroyed past and the new emerging from it. It's a very feminine energy, the phoenix. You feel me? But the old has to be moved out the way and destroyed through flames before the new can emerge. She say this shit gonna hurt, but it's necessary to move this shit out the way. The Five of Stones reiterates it. Says, look, don't be sad, don't be lamentful, don't be woeful. Change your mind about this loss that you've experienced or are experiencing, to see it as a willing giving away of that which does not serve you, of that which has stayed process, of that which has stagnated you. See it as a willing giving away, so it doesn't hurt as much. It doesn't sting as much. You feel me? The loss, right? The grandmothers, again, this hardcore focus on intuition, the necessity of integrating intuition into what? lived experience that requires action and motion on behalf of that which she has given you in your dreams as a vision. Ciao. And the Six of Stones, making sure that in everything that you do, you are living in a spirit of reciprocity, harmonious restoring of balance, the giving and taking in relationship with the one, in relationship with the mother. That's what she's saying. So here we got the blend card. This card flowing like the blend card. The blend card opens up by saying, me as the energy of the rainbow is the inner alchemist that mixes everything that I have ever known, thought, or said into a perfect blend. You understand? I'm gonna read this card. The card speaks. I am the rainbow, calling on you to do what, child? Relax and allow the perfect blending of all that is within you. Relax. Relax. Going back to the grandmother's card. Relax and allow for the perfect blending of all that is already in you. The seed card. It's already there. I am the mixer of the beautiful elixir. My colors create all that is your world. In you, I work to create a clarity of thinking that will lead you to the ultimate union with the one. I combine your ideas and your ideals and your experiences into an arrow of truth and aim it at the only target. Let me do my work. Whoo! Let me do my work. Everything in the universe is a vibration, and vibration can be changed by your mental state. What we spend all that time talking about. How our perception of the external world is what changes our material experience. Meditation, concentration, reflection, relaxation all change your vibration. This is the divine mixing and blending, tempering of your experience. You have acted, you have tried, now you must integrate the experience with everything else that is you. I help you to see where it all fits, how things have been changed, how they came to be used. Remember, experience is the test of your ideas. What did I say over and over and over again? Actionable discernment. Actionable discernment. You come into contact with with a new idea and it sounds good. This motherfucker really spitting game. You feel me? What is the next step? To just to allow it to just become a belief? Something that you just hold on to as a new idea that now informs you? Or do you go out into the world and in the material world test this new idea to see if it applies to you, to see if it can benefit you? She say, listen, experience is the test of ideas. In your practice, shoot at some definitive mark. Why have I been saying all night? Definitive outcome, definitive outcome, definitive outcome. Shoot at some definitive mark. Accept no theories until you have tested them yourself. Life is your opportunity to try and to not accept. Do not accept. What did we say in the picture with the two versions of the women? The one that represented religion and she just praying because her belief tells her that she have to believe without evidence. She have to have faith. You feel me? Without evidence. She have to hope without evidence. And she's sitting by the flower praying, please grow, please grow. That's religion. And then the spiritual version of herself knows that the flower will grow. Why? Because of the blending of all the ideas, all the experiences, all the information already exists and now must be integrated through what? Action. It is the active participation in the process of the woman watering the flower under the sun where everything else is green that ensures a desired and certain outcome. It is her active participation in the cyclical process that guarantees an outcome. She ain't got to hope. She ain't got to pray. She ain't got to have faith. She ain't got to, quote, believe. She can know because science helps her to understand the elements that give rise to a definitive outcome. That's what the blend card teaches us. action, actionable discernment of ideas. It says life is your opportunity to try. Your life, your opportunity is to do, not to accept what you've been told, not to accept what you heard. It is to actionably discern, act, and then evaluate. Go toward the promise at the end of the rainbow. You, as an individual, choose your direction, your every action. Yet you are invisible. You are indivisible from the world. You are indivisible from the world. The cosmic will, there it is again, the cosmic will works through you. Yet you must assume total responsibility for every thought and action. You are guided. You have a mission and a purpose, yet you function with complete free will as an independent agent. You are constantly channeling the universal life force into the world through your patterns of thought and image. You, my dear child, are the actor. I am the integrator of your actions. Take time for me right now. Temperance, the divine blending, happens automatically whenever you relax. Come on in the room, playing card. Whoa, come on in the room, playing card. Honey, the divine blending, known as temperance, happens automatically whenever you relax. What is it? Whenever you rest. What is it? Whenever you sleep and dream. That's when I can do my work. The self-questioning for this card, for y'all, is what did I say at the beginning of this card? Am I always too busy? Do I allow time for the necessary integration of all my experiences? Yeah. This is it. This is it. You understand? 2 more cards and we'll be done. The 2 of Arrows. I love this card. I love this card. 2 of Arrows. 2 of Arrows. So the 2 of Arrows is the suit of arrows is synonymous with the swords. In the traditional deck. And the name of this card is Aim High. Aim high. Aim high. Yep. Right along. We spent the whole first hour talking about what? Institutions, dual and contending power. We do not have to continue to reiterate what is all the ills of the present, all the wrongs, all the horrors of the present. That's not spiritual bypassing. We can be fully aware, and even participatory. I won't participate in no demonstration, but I am actively participating in the boycott, right? So we can be aware and fully participatory. But this card says your imagination, your mind's eye, your vision, your energy should only aim high toward the highest ideals, toward the highest vision of the future. That's it. That's it. Yes. And here's a quote right here, going back to our other big card, several big cards. As you aim high, your highest self or your soul is called to assist you. She, your highest self, is the magical grandmother. She is the magical grandmother who brings plenty to your life. She is that part of you that possesses the wisdom of the ages. What does the blend card talk about? The blending of the ages. All the information. She is the part of you that possesses the wisdom of the ages. This higher portion of yourself is trying her best to activate you towards providing well for yourself and for others. Listen to her now. Ooh, that's a whole word. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, oh, oh. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. What you see, she placed you first. Yes, 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 yes. I see you, sustainables, SFV. Yes, baby. Yes. She had a word right now. The grandmothers, what did I say? Is giving you all the goods, giving you everything you need. Right? She say, while you sleep, I'm giving you the goods. Can you be still enough to use this radical energy and potential that I'm giving you creatively? Creatively, how? To create the new vision. What is the new vision? That which the Two of Arrows is calling on you to do. That vision that forces you to aim high. You see? That vision that forces you to aim high. And that aiming high has you in the center, that the world is healed as you heal, not you heal people at other people at your expense. You understand? The last card of the read is again yet another very powerful major arcana. Yeah, it is. This one is a great way to end this read, and I'm gonna have to go back over this read and listen to it instead of just telling y'all, so I can take some notes, because I was hit in the side several times through this read. So the second card, the last card, which is also a major arcana, is the High Priestess card, known as the Seeker card. The High Priestess card, known as the Seeker card. There's a lot going on in this image. I'm going to show it to y'all again here on IG. There's a lot going on in this image. The Seeker card. Okay. This is the last card for the read for tonight on this here new moon. Okay. The name of the card, the Seeker card, which is the High Priestess card in the traditional deck, is self-reflection. But look at this reflection. Look at this reflection. Is she looking at herself? Is she looking into the mirror at herself? Self-reflection is the name of this card. Okay. The reason she's not looking at herself is because the affirmation of this card says, my world is a reflection of my relationship to all that is. Through my image and word, Great Spirit wisdom takes form. Okay. Same thing for the whole night. Is everything is already here, right? The seed card. All the boundless, limitless potential presented in the seed card is a representation of all that ever was and all that ever will be, housed in the untapped, limited potential of the seed at the beginning of this read, right? The blending card, which is the temperance card, saying that you have to integrate all that is, all that has been, all that ever will be, all that exists right now. You have to take the time through what? Rest and relaxation to allow integration, temperance to unfold. Right? The grandmother's card saying, baby, I'm giving you all the goods. You know what I'm saying? The great galactic silver platter that is the right now. I'm giving you all the goods. You feel me? I'm giving you everything that you could possibly need to exercise and execute this greater vision. This vision that we are all involved in, whether we're doing it consciously or unconsciously, this vision that we're all involved in. I'm giving you the goods. I'm giving you everything you could possibly need. I'm giving it to you in your sleep, but you have to act creatively. You have to expend this radical, limitless potential creatively. You have to create. You have to put your hands on something and make something new. You have to generate something from this imagination that you have, whether it's me playing the sitar and making a struggle, why I can't practice or why I don't practice, or whether it is putting your hand on earth and transforming it into something that is useful. You feel me? The grandmother's card say, baby, you got to execute. I'm giving you all the goods in your dreams. Temperance is allowing you to blend it. You feel me? The pierced shield card is ensuring that you keep your mind clear, keep your mind open, because shit gonna fall away. As you evolve simultaneously, shit is going to dissolve. As you evolve simultaneously, shit is going to dissolve. I'm about to strike away. Pew, pew, pew. All that shit that's been holding you back. All that shit that's been burdening you. All that shit that's been weighing you down. Pew, pew. And every time I strike some shit down, pew, even if it hurts, guess what? Your burden's lighter. Guess what? Your vision's clearer. Guess what? The noise is less. But this shit might sting a little bit. So while I'm present, it might cause you to need to shift your worldview a little bit. The great giveaway. Remember the 5 of stones. Instead of seeing it as a loss, because I'm about to run through this shit. Pew, pew, pew. Instead of seeing it as a loss, instead of seeing it as a burning away and you hold on to the hurt or the feeling of loss, see it instead as a necessary giving away of that which you no longer need. Shift your vision, shift your ideas of it so that you don't get bogged down in the feeling of loss. You don't get bogged down in the feeling of needing to let go. You understand? Shift it to see it as a giving away. What is that? Why is that so important? Because the other whole part of this read was about the necessity of living cyclically in those things that exist around you. What do they call it? The restoring of balance. What did I talk about with the woman watering the flower? She is integrating. She is a part of the environment. She's not outside the process like the woman praying on her knees, hoping that the flower will grow, having, quote, faith that the flower will grow with no contribution whatsoever to the process. She ain't part of the process. She ain't contributing to the process. She just sitting on her knees, hoping and praying, while the other woman does not see herself outside of the process. She is firmly rooted in and integrated in the whole that requires that she actively participate in the unfolding, right? That will contribute to the flower growing. So the seeker says, look, you understand? You got the juice. You got the juice. I hold in my mind the entire book of knowledge of all past events and all of those to come. That's why the institutions of dual and contending power. That's why recognizing and acknowledging what currently is, not as a way to get caught up in it, bogged down by it, but as a way to create a blueprint, an architectural draft, if you will, of that which you must create, that is its opposition, it is extreme, that is the extreme opposite of that which is. Do you understand what I'm saying? Honey, the Seeker card says, my world is a reflection of my relationship to all that is. My ability to impact the material world. Every single individual. What can one person do? Everything. Because all that exists. Why do we get our Akashic records read in the first place? Because every single one of us is listed in the book of knowledge of all past events and all those things to come, all of those things yet to unfold. I have access to the universal memory through my ever deepening states of meditation and attunement. Temperance, again. I am the questioner of all that is, lifting the veils that cloud my inner knowing. What is that? That's the pierced shield. That's the pierced shield. Clearing away all that clouds my inner knowing, all the noise, all the social media feeds, all the doom and despair, all the conspiracy theories, all the doomsday preparations, all the end of the world scenarios and talks about Jesus coming back for the church. The Seeker says, in my relationship with the pierced seal, baby, I come down to clear all that bullshit out the way, so that what comes forward is your strengthened intuition and your inner knowing. I am the virgin containing what? I am the virgin containing what? The unfertilized seeds of all my potential creations. That's what I am as the Seeker. I'm the virgin containing all the unfertilized seeds of my potential creations. I have learned to say no to that which does not benefit myself and to say yes to the interactions and situations that nourish me. I am a child of the moon. Wait a minute. I am a child of the moon. I'm a child of the moon, the grandmothers. Where is that? I'm a child of the moon, studying my cycles, my moods, my phases. I learned from my body. What did the blink card said? The first lesson of the blink card is what? Trust your body. Above all else, trust your body. What did I say at the very beginning? Trust these biological, biochemical processes that make up your nervous system, your peripheral nervous system, your central nervous system, your endocrine system that informs you through chemical execution of how you should respond to that which you are processing in the external world. That's what she say. Trust your body. That's what the blend card says. This card here says, because I learned from my body, which speaks to me through its feelings and its responses. I observe my patterns and changes. The mirror of myself reflects the goddess embodied. That's what the seeker say. The seeker say, all of these previous cards have led you to this moment here, the seeker, who has actively told you all that you need be looking out for, doing, observing, and acting on to get to this moment where the seeker integrates everything and allows your external environment to be a reflection of the newly evolutionarily emerged you, where you in your internal environment is just as harmonious in its relationship with your external environment. This is the environment that, as the goddess, what does it say? The mirror of myself reflects the goddess. The execution of the future and the vision that the goddess is calling on, is demanding, and giving you all the information, all the pitfalls, the potential setbacks, how to view them differently so they don't hold you back or stay your progress. You feel me? This was a radical read, child. This was a radical read. Yes, baby. This was a radical read. What's the visualization for this card? What I've been telling you all along. See yourself as having already accomplished something you have been wanting to do. Well, this is the read for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. So what is that? What is the seeing ourselves having already accomplished something that we wanted to do? Create the goddamn new world. Ensure harmony restored among the planet. Seeing institutions of dual and contending power, making obsolete that which already exists, creating institutions of dual and contending power that ensure the freaking lightning bolt of purging of old structures can unfold just by us creating something new. She say, visualize yourself having already accomplished that. What has this whole read been saying about unlimited potential, boundless potential that can only come through what? The restful integration of all that has been, all that is, and all that ever will be, and to be able to channel your energy as a Faye, as a creator of destiny, as a Faye, as a weaver of the threads of destiny, as a Faye. This is a hella read. It's a hella read. Okay. Yes, this is a hella read. I'm gonna read one more thing. I'm gonna read one more thing from this read. There's a summation at the end of the seeker card that I think is I never read these, but I think this is profound in how I'm gonna end this. It's called the reflecting body. Your body holds knowledge of all lives you have ever lived. It is filled with experience. The computer and its micro memory system has nothing over the amazing human body and its storehouse of information. The seeker asks you to explore your body, to learn from it, to know its secrets. Once again, your own sexual nature entices you to discover the physical self. Discovery of the physical self brings awareness of the other levels of your being. Discovery of your physical self. Ciao. Discovery of your physical self is what brings awareness to your other levels of being. What does that mean? That guy who sat beside me the other night talking about the serpentine movement up the chakras, and if the serpentine movement gets stuck or stalled, you feel me, how it will manifest itself in your physical body, in your health, you feel me? And I said, well, that's in line with and not separate from Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which tells you that it is only when your physical material needs are met that you can travel up the other hierarchical, if you will, areas of need that allow your upper chakras or your upper needs to be met effortlessly. It is only through your material experience that spirit can experience itself. Yeah? You understand? She said it's only through the discovery of your physical self that brings awareness to the other levels of being. Soon you are asking, from where does true ecstasy come? And the fool, that brave adventurer that hides inside you, leads you further down the path. That's the seed card. When you ask this question, from where does true ecstasy come? And the fool being brand new, still housing everything in the memory of what it is, the seed, you understand? But when you ask that question, which is the question in the hearts of everyone, from where does true ecstasy come? Can I be happy? Can I experience happiness as my norm up on this bitch? You understand? And the fool says, come on, girl, let's go. Let's go. The adventurer inside you leads you further down the path of discovery. Just as the magician, the resourceful one, has observed the primal energy ever present within and has seen the creations that have been made with it. The seeker looks beyond. The seeker is not satisfied with mere outer appearance, but wants you to know the why. What makes it so? The magician wields energy skillfully, but the seeker wants to understand how the energy came to be passing through in this way, and what else can it do? One of the discoveries the seeker makes is that food affects her vibration, both her sense of well-being and her energy level. It affects her mood, her strength, her ability to search. For search takes concentration and endurance. Looking in the mirror of self requires clear mind and body. You cannot go inside and expect to find a peaceful place to study with a gurgling stomach, an aching back, a stopped up nose, or weary muscles. You must become a high priestess who takes the nutritional elements in a combination that cleans and builds the temple of her inner dwelling, God's self. The seeker seeks health, not only to feel good day by day, but to allow her the peace in which to explore her higher nature unobstructed. Listen, bodies try to heal themselves. This is their basic nature. For the most part, if you have not severely abused your body, time and patience will allow proper healing to take place. On the other hand, the world we live in is filled with stresses and temptations to ignore the body's wisdom. Often, our strongly empowered intellects, the rational side of our beings, overrule the body's suggestions. Come on in the room. The body begins to acclimate the recovery periods you have denied it. Listen, the body in this conditioning of overpowered intellects, the body begins to accumulate the recovery periods you should have taken, the recovery periods that you frequently deny it. How many cards in our read said, bitch, chill? Can you sleep? Like, can you relax? Like, can you take some deep breaths? can you restore and rejuvenate? How many cards said that? Like 3, right? It must therefore become sicker and sicker until you will allow it to have the series of short recovery periods that you have denied it. This results in an illness that requires a long layoff. Your body attempts each season to bring itself back into the harmony of the nature around it. In the spring, it wants you to be active. In the summer, to work and rest intermittently. In the fall, to harvest and take stock of itself. In the winter, to sit back, reflect, and prepare for another new time to come. When the seasonal weather changes, your body will often try to cleanse itself in preparation for the changing environment in which it must live. You can assist it by fasting or eating a particular diet suitable for the time of year. What are we talking about? Oh my God. Yo. Anyway, I could read that whole section because it's good, but you get the drift. It's still about what this whole read was about. The necessity for temperance, the necessary blending that requires rest so that you can blend, right? The restoring balance of the 6 of stones, the restoring balance that requires us all the time, and it shouldn't be effortful. Requires us all the time to live cyclically in reciprocity with our environment, which is what the seeker just said. Living harmoniously, eating according to the seasons, activity that matches the changing of the season, right? Remember, I was telling y'all a few weeks ago when I was talking to you guys about us being in the spring season, the wood element of 5 elements theory, and how people are like, yeah, we should fast. And this is the inappropriate time of the year for you to be fasting. Remember me telling y'all that? Some of y'all got an attitude about it. I'm just telling you what the science say. That if you're going to fast, that the time that you would be fasting is in the winter season, not in the spring season. You feel me? So anyway, I just love the way this read fell tonight. I think it was really appropriate. I'm about to go back over it and study it some more because I'm giving y'all the goods, but now I need to go back and integrate. What is that? Temperance. So anyway, let's see. We are 2 hours and 51 minutes in. So for 10 minutes, I'm going to open up the line. I'm going to paste in the comment section for those of you who are tuning in via StreamYard, which is Twitch, X, YouTube, and Facebook. If you want to come on and ask a question, if you want to come on and make a comment, I will give you a minute. Okay, a minute, maybe 2, to ask a question or make a comment. How'd you feel about the reading for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence? Is anything in it resonating with you, apply to you? Is it useful as we are here in this Taurus super new moon? Okay, so I just put in the comment section the link that will allow you to come on to the call and ask a question. Those of you who are tuning in live from IG, and I can't really tell how many of you are still here, but if you would like to make a comment, if you would like to come on and ask a question or make a comment, you can send me, like a little thing. Yeah, it'll have like a little thing at the bottom of your screen that will allow you to request being brought on to the live. You can do that, and I will allow you to ask a question or make a comment about anything that I've talked about, the 1.5-hour intro that I did, or the results of the reading for the Temple of Evolutionary Emergence. I'm gonna give it just a minute or 2. If nobody come on, I'm logging off. In the meantime, more housekeeping. Those of you who are tuning in from Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, or X, even those of you who are tuning in from IG, but it's easier to do from here, make a donation. My page is monetized, so you can send me a super thanks or a super chat or whatever those little things. You can become a member of my YouTube channel. For those of you who are tuning in via IG, my YouTube channel is at Daughter of the Fates with an S, Fates, Daughter of the Fates. That is my YouTube channel at Daughter of the Fates. You can go there. You can become a member, or you can make a donation. You can make a donation as a super chat, super thanks, whatever. If any of you are interested in getting a reading, we are still in the energy of the new moon for 48 hours after the peak of the new moon. So over the next 2 days, it is a really great and advantageous time to get yourself a divination. And you can do that by emailing me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com, releaseheartcenter@gmail.com to inquire about getting divination or a 5 elements wellness consultation, which I also do for anyone that's anywhere. Those of you who are looking to receive a session with me and you are local, you can do that too. Email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com and I'll give you the details on how to do that. There was one more thing I wanted to say and it has slipped my mind. I want to reiterate for those of you that are on now, I need cicada recordings. Anybody that is on the eastern portion of the country in the states where you can now hear these cicadas, because the brood won't last long. I need a minimum of 3. They can be 10-minute recordings. I need a minimum of 3 recordings coming from different areas of the cicada song. Obviously, the bird is at night when the rest of the world is still. I need cicada recordings. There have been people that had committed to capture those recordings for me, but I haven't been on alive in about a week. Please don't let the brood pass before I get these recordings. Please, it's so urgently important to me that I get these recordings. Please use your phone. If you have an iPhone that has a good, like a good mic on it or whatever, or a laptop that has a good mic on it, please capture a minimum of 10 minutes of cicada songs and email those to me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. It's so important and will only take 10 to 30 minutes of your life. Please send me the cicada recordings. Okay? It's important to me. And I've already said I will pay you for them if that's what you require, or I will gift you one of these solar eclipse crystals that I harvested out of the crystal mine during the solar eclipse in Arkansas. I can gift you a quart or I can pay you, but I need the cicada songs urgently. It's important to me. So please do that. And I don't see anybody having come on or logged in to ask a question or to make a comment. And so I am going to wrap this up. I don't think there was anything else I was trying to draw out for today. Nope. So the reading I thought was good. I thought was a good fall for us. And if you're interested, email me at releaseheartcenter@gmail.com. If you want to, if you want me to like take a picture of the throw for tonight, so you can go back and listen to it with the cards, I can just email me and I will take a picture of the cards that fell for tonight's reading and I will email that to you. Okay. All right. That is all I have for you. You understand? Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. That's all I got for you. So if that's it, cool, everybody. All right. Thank you. Thank you for rocking with me for almost 3 hours. And I will see you again on another day. All right. Peace.